Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in into the Ludi Print sewing channel. Today we're going to be sewing this cute little tote bag and we're going to learn how to make these easy folded envelope corners. What I really like about this project is that the tote is very roomy and super practical, and we're only going to use one piece of our main fabric. Alright, this is what we're going to need for our project today. We're going to need only one piece of a non-directional fabric for our main fabric and one piece for our lining. We're also going to use one piece of our fusible interfacing on our main fabric. And for this project, I'm using the Pellon interfacing that's 808 and it's the craft fuse. And then for our handles, we're going to need some twill tape that's about 1 inch wide. But for this project, I thought it was super fun to use a little bit of my measuring tape that I had left over from another project that I did before. And it was an old measuring tape, so I thought it would look super cute. Perfect, so I made this slide for you. If you want to go ahead and pause it, we're gonna need one piece of our main fabric and one piece for our lining that are 18 inches long by 12.5 inches wide. That's 46 centimeters by 32 centimeters. And then we're gonna take 1 inch or 2 centimeters off of our dimensions to cut our fusible interfacing so we have room for our seam allowance. We're going to be using a 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance. And then for our handles, we're going to need two pieces of our twill tape that's 1 inch wide that measure 10.5 inches each or 27 centimeters. I'm going to put the link for all the products that I use in this video down in the description so it's easier for you to have access to them. Now that we have all our panels ready, I'm showing you here the rough side of the interfacing. That's the part that has the glue. So we're going to place our interfacing on our main fabric facing down, and then we're going to just glue it by pressing with our iron. I mentioned before that we're going to be using a non-directional fabric. That means that no matter what way we looked at it, it looks right. And this is because when we fold our tote, everything looks right and nothing looks upside down. So just keep that in mind. To place our handles, we're going to measure 2 3/4 from each side or 7 centimeters. And then to the right, we're going to place our twill tape. And then we're going to stitch over them to secure them to our main fabric. But I thought it would be fun to have the handles made out of actually a measuring tape, and this is the handle I use for my sewing machine desk cover, and I thought it was a really cute detail for the handles. So if you want to watch this video, please make sure to click the link above it and also at the end of the video. Because the measuring tape is a little bit skinnier than the twill tape, I'm adding an inch to my measurements. So I'm placing my measuring tape at about 3 3/4 inches. That's about 2 centimeters. Also, when securing your handles to the main fabric, make sure that everything lays flat and is not curling around or making any loops. So now we're ready to go ahead and stitch over our handles. We're gonna go ahead and backstitch at the beginning and at the end, and if you want, you can do some reinforcement stitches over the handles. For our next step, we want to make sure that our handles are on the inside of our main fabric. Then we're going to place the pretty side of our lining facing down, so both pretty sides of our fabrics are facing together. And then when everything is aligned, we're gonna go ahead and stitch over the sides that have our handles. Now we're gonna center our seam so we can mark where our folds are gonna be, but we gotta make sure that our seams are aligning. So we're gonna make sure that our seams are aligned on both sides, and we're gonna go ahead and clip them in place. It's easier to sew over our seams when they're open, so please make sure to open the seams for the lining to the left and the seams for the main fabric to the right. Alright, so now we're ready to mark where our folds are going to be. So we're going to be measuring 2 3/8 inches or 6 centimeters to each of the sides. And then we're going to flip over everything, and then we're going to mark again the same measurements, 2 3/8 inches or 6 centimeters. And then we're going to go ahead and match both lines that we just marked and clip everything in place. Once we have clipped everything in place, we're gonna go ahead and sew one of the sides, and then on the other side, on the lining part, we're gonna just pin it to make sure that we remember to leave a gap for us to turn everything right side out. And when we're pinning, make sure to pin on the right of that fold. Make sure to leave a big enough gap because this is the gap we're gonna be using to turn everything right side out, and with the interfacing being a little bit thick, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. Alright, so now we're ready to turn everything right side out. Before we close our gap, I want to make sure that all the corners are looking great. So once we have all the fabrics right side out and everything is looking good, then we're going to be ready to close our gap. I like to have a coordinating color to close our gap so it doesn't show as much. And also for our next step, we're gonna be top stitching all around it. And I think the blue is gonna be super pretty for our main fabric as well. This is the fun part, when you see your project come to life. It's that feeling that you get of accomplishment, that you finished something that you made yourself. And I just love it. It's something that we can use or we can give it as a gift, and it's so fun. Before we do the top stitching all around, I like to give it a nice final press. So I actually designed this fabric. I hand painted it with my watercolors, And then you can go ahead and buy the same fabric if you want, and I'm gonna leave the link in the description. It's for my spoon flower shop. I have many different fabrics that you can choose from. For this last fabric, I decided to sew a dust cover for my sewing machine, and I do have a tutorial for that, so if you want to click on the link above it, you can go ahead and go directly to that video. I would also have that link at the end of the video so you can keep watching and finish our tote. Thank you so much for watching and sewing along. I hope you really enjoyed this project as much as I did. Check out my channel and my other videos for more fun sewing projects. And if you want, you can subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming sewing projects. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time!